कौन नहीं चाहता कि उसका मेंटर एक यूपीएससी रैंकर हो। 2021 के फाइनल रिजल्ट्स में सिविल्स डेली आईएएस के 200 से भी ज्यादा सिलेक्शंस हैं। गाइस, आई एम गोइंग टू कनेक्ट यू 1-to-1 विद सिविल्स डेली रैंकर्स फॉर फ्री। देयर इज अ लिंक इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन, फिल इट एंड स्केड्यूल अ सेशन। These ranker will prepare a timetable and a personalized plan for you. ये टॉपर्स आपको exactly वही बताएंगे कि कौन सी बुक फॉलो करनी है, कौन सा चैप्टर पढ़ना है. They will guide you in answer writing, mocks and accessing them. Don't miss this golden opportunity to get mentored by a ranker.
Please come in.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
So, Rohan.
Yes, sir.
Kadam.
Yes, sir.
What does this Kadam mean?
So, Kadam is South Indian dynasty called as Kadam. Kadam name derived from the tree's name of Kadam.
Alright. So, what is so special about this Kadam tree? Any idea?
Sir, I am not aware about the exact details of that.
Some god is associated with this Kadam. Any idea?
No, sir. I am not aware about that.
Alright. Lord Krishna.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Alright. So, Rohan, you call yourself Rohan or Kadam?
Sir, Kadam is my surname. Rohan is my name, sir.
So, Rohan,
Yes, sir.
you studied in Maharashtra,
Yes, sir.
Mumbai, and you did your economics. Alright.
Yes, sir.
That you completed in 2016.
Yes, sir.
Thereafter, what have you been doing?
Sir, I was preparing for civil services exam. And
All throughout.
Yes, sir. And in the 2020, I have started pursuing the Masters in Economics from the Gokhale Institute, Pune, sir.
Alright. So that means for last 5-6 years you have been preparing for the civil services.
Yes, sir.
What do you think that what has gone wrong
Yes, sir.
that you could not make it to the civil services till date?
Sir, in earlier attempts, I failed to recognize what is the exactly demand of the exam. So later on, whenever first I haven't cleared the prelims, so then I cleared prelims. Then mains was hurdle for me, and this time I cleared mains. So the main thing which I recognized.
So what did you realize in this journey?
Yes, sir.
What did you realize? What was wrong in your approach?
Yes, sir. So first thing is recognition of the demand. What is asked is important. Second thing
So
is.
what did you find? This is what I'm asking.
Yes, sir. Sir, I realized that I was focusing on more detailing of the answers, whereas the exam demands the basics and the clarity of thought, sir. So I realized this.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. You are bang on dot.
Yes.
You see, this examination basically requires whether you have got clarity in your mind or not.
Yes, sir.
If you have got clarity in your mind, you will be able to put across your views and thoughts in a very cogent and a very rational manner. There will not be any confusion. And if there is no confusion in your mind, if you have got clarity in mind, you will be able to take a balanced decision as well.
Yes, sir.
When you are working or discharging your function as a civil servant. Very well. So, now let me try to find out your understanding of this country. So,
Yes, sir.
how will I do that? I'll ask some questions from history, geography, economics and constitution, and then I'll ask you to give some views on some particular subject.
Yes, sir.
Since you come from Maharashtra, you are now studying in Pune.
Yes, sir.
Pune is a seat of learning in Maharashtra. There are large number of Jyotirlingas in Maharashtra.
Yes.
Can you name them?
Sir, I can remember the few.
All right.
Like one is the Aunda Nagnath.
Pardon?
Aunda Nagnath.
Naganathan.
Yes, sir.
Where
Yes,
is it?
sir. Sir, it's in Marathwada region, sir.
Which where? Which district?
Sir, I am not able to recall the exact
All right.
district, sir.
That is in Jalna.
Yes, sir.
What else?
So no, sir, I am not aware about the.
Nasik.
Yes, sir.
Trimbakeshwar?
Trimbakeshwar is the one of the. Yes, sir. Yes, thank you, sir.
And near Trimbakeshwar there is another Jyotirlinga which is very famous for cave temples also.
Sorry, sir, I am not able to.
And then you are studying in Pune, you must know about Pune. There is a Jyotirlinga near Pune also. Bhima Shankar, have you heard?
Yes, sir. Bhima Shankar is one of the. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
This question was asked to understand whether you have got an understanding of your surrounding and the geography of this country or not.
Yes, sir.
So that was one. Now coming to history.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what was the difference between first battle of Panipat and the battle of Khanur?
Sorry, sir, I am not able to.
All right. So let's not go to the north because you are basically confined to south. Tell me something about Vijayanagara Empire.
Yes, sir. Sir, Vijayanagara Empire was first started by the Wadiyar family, Wadiyar brothers, and after that, Krishnadev Raya was one of the greatest king of the Vijayanagara Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Vijayanagara Empire is also famous for the architecture, sir. Like Hampi Virupaksha temple is there, right? Even the other temples near the Vijayanagara dynasty are famous, sir. Like
what was Vijayanagar famous for?
Sir,
You said architecture.
Yes,
sir. All right. That is.
yes,
But more than that,
sir.
what was so special about Hampi and Vijayanagara Empire?
Yes, sir. Sir, the benevolence of the king is reflected in the architecture.
Not necessarily. You don't know. All these stories are woven because he was a powerful guy. So all his stories will be basically trying to eulogize him.
Yes, sir.
Hampi was the largest or the second largest town in the world at that point of time,
Yes,
after Beijing. And Vijayanagara Empire was the richest empire in the world at that point of time. And very, very rich, extremely rich. You must read why it became rich. What were the reasons? Rather than knowing only the fact, like the Krishnadev Raya and all kinds of things, fine. But we must understand why that empire became so rich.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now coming to economy, and you have been a student of economy. What do you think is the impact of Ukrainian-Russian war on Indian economy? And had you been the Secretary Finance Government of India, what would have been your approach to take care of if there is some kind of a issue?
Yes, sir. Sir, first I'll address the first question. Since we are living in a globalized world, there will be ramifications of any event on India.
Mm-hmm.
First is the supply side disruptions. Second thing is inflation, which is induced through the oil prices rising, and we have seen the higher inflation. Third thing, the major part of the we can say the agriculture is also affected. Agriculture exports, we can take an opportunity since there is a wheat void in the wheat supplies all over the world. So these are the three things.
Okay,
which
you
is
are talking about wheat.
Yes, sir.
I'm intervening in. Do you know how much surplus do we produce in terms of wheat? Only the surplus can be exported?
Yes, sir.
So what is the volume of that surplus?
Yes, sir. So total production of the wheat was around 120 million metric tons, and from that 40 metric tons is going for the procurement and the stuff.
No, whatever. How much surplus do we produce? You see, some of the wheat will get
Yes,
confused
yes,
within the country. So
Yes,
what
sir.
is the surplus? Only the surplus
Sir,
can
it's
be
around 15 to 20 metric tons.
So suppose 20 metric tons.
Yes, sir.
And what will the global price? So
Sir,
15 million metric ton multiplied by the global price
yes, sir.
at best, and then you have to deduct the administrative expenditure, transportation, and things like that. Do you really think that we can earn substantial foreign exchange or even some respectable foreign exchange through this?
Yes, sir. Sir, the wheat exports, we can fill the gap immediately, sir, because we are expecting the good amount of crop, the production in this Rabi season. So we have the production in place. We have supply side.
We have already come to a conclusion, as you said, that
Yes.
we will be producing say 20 million metric ton of surplus.
Yes,
Multiply by the price in the global market.
yes, sir.
So कितना होगा आपका?
Sure.
You are a student of
Yes.
economics.
Yes, sir.
So 20 million metric ton multiplied by say 20 rupees per
Sir,
kg.
yes, sir.
Okay, this is in ton multiplied by say 1000.
Yes.
This will become kgs.
Yes, sir.
So calculate. You get to know about the numbers. It's not substantial.
Yes, sir.
It's more of a rhetoric and more of optics. That we are there in the world to supply some kind of a footprint, but it does not give us much of a value, except optics.
Yes, sir. Sir, as per the recent reports, it is projected that we will fill only the 3% of the void which is there. And
3% of oil?
3% of void which is caused due to the lower supplies from the Russia and Ukraine region. Because Russia and Ukraine are the major wheat producing countries.
No, forget about wheat now. What other than wheat?
Yes, sir. Sir, other than wheat, sir, supply side linkages are hampered due to the world war. The Russia-Ukraine war. So we can fill up those gaps also. Like we have the production link incentive schemes. So we can leverage the complementarity with the existing supply linkages which we have.
No, Ron, I was looking because you are a student of history, a student of economics, and now you are pursuing masters also economics.
Yes, sir.
I thought that you will give a much better answer. You see, because of the impact of high prices of crude, there would be an inflation in the market.
Yes.
There is already inflation.
Yes, sir.
How long can we survive? And what should we do to take care of that inflation?
Yes, sir.
That is what is required from you.
Yes, sir. Sir, there can be two types of steps. First is the short run and second is the long run.
Mm-hmm.
In short run, we have seen that crude oil prices which we expected was around $100 per barrel, but it is much above from that.
Kitna hai samajh? Any idea?
Now it is $125 billion.
125.
Yes,
I thought it was 107 now. It had gone to $120 per barrel. Then it came down to 107, it seems. Let's find out. Anyway, you please continue.
Yes, sir. So immediately we can give relief to the population through the tax cuts, sir. The central government can further reduce the central excise duty, and the states also can reduce their respective value-added tax or sales tax. So that is the first thing. Second thing, we have built our strategic reserves of oil, so we can supply oil from that reserves. In the long run, we must also diversify the energy basket. Like we are already pushing.
It says $104.29 per barrel.
Sorry, sir.
So you are a student of economics. You should have the latest figures. No?
Sorry, sir.
Don't go by what your institutes or the coaching institutes are saying.
Yes, sir.
So one, you said that taxes can be reduced so
Yes,
that
sir.
people will get a little bit of relief, but that will adversely affect our revenue collection.
Sir, it will certainly affect the revenue collection, but it is needed as a short-term temporary measure to provide relief to the ultimate consumers. Sir. Inflation is very high, sir. It has already breached the inflation target which we have set of 4 plus 2%, that is 6%, and we are experiencing 6.95%. So it is high time to reduce the taxes. In fact,
All right. What else?
Sir, apart from that, we are already it is a long-term measure that we are already diversifying the energy basket. We must give push to that. Like even the Maharashtra government has reduced the VAT on the CNG from 13% to 3%. So such steps which help ultimately consumers, sir. Also, immediate incentives should be increased for the electric vehicles, sir.
How will that help? Tell me.
Sir,
ultimately, electric vehicle means what? The energy has to come in.
Yes, sir.
That energy will come either from petroleum or from the fossil fuel like coal.
Yes, sir.
Or solar.
Yes, sir. Sir, but the solar energy or the other renewable energy, that we are not dependent on the other countries. Like we can produce it.
But you see, the problem with the solar is that it can be produced only during the daytime, and it is almost impossible to store energy in a big way.
Yes, sir. Certainly the storage capacity and the
all right. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you,
I am not asking any question on the constitution. I'll leave that to my other colleague.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Rohan.
Yes, sir.
Rohan, you are from Maharashtra.
Yes, sir.
Okay, why is today important for Maharashtra?
Sir, on 1st May 1960, Bombay Reorganization Act was passed, and it has created the Maharashtra as a new state, including Bombay, sir. So it is a Maharashtra Day, which is celebrated in Maharashtra.
Okay, good. So when was the name of Bombay changed to Mumbai?
Sir, when after the 1960, when the Sanyukta Maharashtra, that is Maharashtra including Bombay, was built, after in 1964, I think it is changed to the Mumbai, sir.
1964?
Yes, sir.
Or is it in 1990s?
Sorry, sir, but there were demands in 1964 onwards.
Okay, fine. So, Maharashtra is a state that has some part of the Western Ghats.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, how much percentage of the landmass of Maharashtra is covered by Western Ghats?
Sorry, sir, I am not aware about the exact percentage areas.
No problem. You have pursued your post graduation, or you are?
Sir, I am currently pursuing. It will be completed by June 2022, sir.
Okay. So you are doing it from Gokhale Institute?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me why Gopal Krishna Gokhale is quite important in our freedom movement, and who was the main, disciple of Gokhale, who further continued the work in our freedom struggle?
Yes, sir. Sir, contribution of Gopal Krishna Gokhale is immense for freedom struggle. First, he led the economic critique of the British policy. Second thing, he also criticized the budgetary policies which British government was taking. Third, he was a part of the Morla Minto committee which suggested the political reforms. So he advocated the political reforms in the India as well as in the Britain, sir. Fourth thing, he was main instrumental in the moderates, generating supports among the moderates, and he was the main pillar of the moderates group. Second question, his disciple was like Mahatma Gandhi has himself considered him as a guru. So he was Mahatma Gandhi was disciple of Gokhale.
Mahatma Gandhi was doing his practice of law, right?
Yes.
What about Bal Gangadhar Tilak?
Yes, sir.
Tilak was, heavily influenced by the impact of Gokhale on the freedom struggle.
Sure. In fact, the Bal Gangadhar Tilak was in few areas he was against the views of the Gokhale, and though he was influenced by him, but his method of pursuing freedom and other reforms was very different from the Gokhale. Although he admired what was the Gokhale's contribution in the obituary which he gave to the GK Gokhale.
Good. So, do you think the category called as moderates and extremists, it was actually a ploy by the British to divide our freedom struggle?
Sure, Britishers have tried various methods to divide and rule, sir. But considering particularly the moderates versus extremist divide, there were some sentiments and modus operandi which one take to gain freedom was different, and there were differences inherently from the Indian people also. So I can say that Britishers have tried to further enhance the divide and rule, but it was present, even though Britishers, even we take the Britishers were neutral to it, just for the sake. So it was there. It was certainly there among the leaders.
Okay. So, can you explain me what is nudge theory?
Yes, sir. Sir, nudge theory was basically theory from behavioral economics. It is based on the influencing the behavior of the other person through various psychological initiatives, sir.
Okay. So, Rohan, you are an economist. Can you tell me what is the current status of the women's labor force participation in India? What is the percentage?
Yes, sir. So the recent CMIA data suggests that women labor force participation is 9.2%. It has reduced from the 15.4% which were the earlier projections.
Okay, okay. So it is quite low. 9% is very minuscule.
Yes,
So
sir.
why do you think women are dropping out of workforce in such large numbers?
Yes, sir. Sir, there are several reasons. First is women are not feeling safety at the workplace. Second thing, the gender pay gap is quite huge. Like even the recent gender gap report has suggested that it is 30%. So it is quite. Also, third thing is the promotional avenues for women vis-a-vis men are restricted. And also the fourth thing is they have dual burden. They have also responsibility at home. And there is no equal sharing of responsibility which is at home with the male counterpart. So these are the main reasons why the women labor force participation rate is lower, sir.
Okay, you also mentioned about gender pay gap.
Yes,
You
sir.
have a hobby of following cricket, right?
Yes.
So sometime back, Smriti Mandhana, who is a part of the women's cricket team, she said that when she was asked this question about pay gap, she said that the day women's cricket becomes that popular in India, we'll also be earning like men's cricket. So do you think this whole theory of gender pay gap is just made up? Because as in when popularity improves, because in Bollywood also we are seeing that now more women centric movies are being made, they are making good revenue, so the remuneration of the female actors is also increasing. So do you think that instead of trying to make a mark and creating a mark for themselves, this whole debate of gender pay gap is just made up?
Sure. Gender pay gap is reality. We cannot deny that it is not there. Also, the women, particularly which you mentioned, the women cricket teams get very less. Like they get almost the 20 to 25% of what the male cricket teams get. Also, there are various stories that women cricketers don't spend even their dearness allowance. They save it for their household expenses. So it is there, and the debate, even the Smriti Mandhana's argument was in context that in the recent years, the women crickets avenues for the women crickets are rising. They are getting various sponsorships and other advertisement. So it is rising, and they are getting benefited through it. But as a policy level, or we can say at a starting level, or we can consider in the other game, or apart from the cricket, there is a gender pay gap, and we need to bridge that. We can be it a gradual process, but we should go for it, sir. This is my view on it, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so Rohan Kadam,
Yes, sir.
you said something about Kadam linked to tree also.
Yes, sir.
What is that tree?
Sir, Kadam tree is basically, I'm not aware about the exact variety from which it comes, but it is also found in the southern India, sir.
Yeah. It is a tree and it is related to Kadam. So you should have little knowledge about
Yes, sir.
Kadam.
Yes, sir. I'll read it definitely, sir. Thank you, sir.
It is related to Krishna.
Yes, sir.
Its seeds are used for fragrance, wood used for paper and something like that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You have written something about banyan tree in your def.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Sir, under the Banyan tree is the debate club of the Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics. In fact, it is the same Banyan tree where Gandhiji and Gokhaleji used to debate. So we are continuing legacy of them through continuing the debates regularly, sir.
Say something about banyan tree.
Yes, sir. Sir, Banyan tree has a spiritual importance in the Hinduism. Like it is considered there is a festival called as Vata Purnima, where women worship banyan tree and they take feras around it for their protection of their husbands. So it has a spiritual value in Hinduism, sir.
If we want to compare tree, banyan tree and peepal tree,
Yes, sir.
then how will you say that which one is more important?
Sir, I'm not aware about the exact properties of both the trees. I'll read it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Peepal tree is also religious.
Yes,
It
sir.
says that it takes and releases even oxygen during night also, peepal tree.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay. You are from economics. Your father happened to be in the education department. Yeah.
Sir, he was director of the Jana Shikshan Sanstha, which is project by Ministry of Human Resource Development, and now it is the Ministry of Education.
But he is not educationist. He was not a teacher.
No, sir.
Now what we see in 2016, rupees 500 note and 1000 note were banned.
Yes, sir.
And 500 note was kept, 1000 was not kept, and 2000 came into.
Yes, sir.
Then it was criticized.
Yes, sir.
What was the real fact? Why 2000 note was required?
Yes, sir.
Don't you think people said that bigger currencies means more black money that will be leading? So 2000 note has really given the economy a little not good,
Yes,
but a bad shape. Do you think it's like that?
Sir, it was a demonetization. After the demonetization, the liquidity, very much liquidity of in the market got sucked by the government regulation. So it was immediate need to restore that liquidity, and the currency note of the higher value was the avenue which was used at that time. But sir, after that, there is substantial decrease in the 2000 currency note and increase in the 500 currency note, sir. So it was an immediate step required to neutralize the liquidity issue, sir.
Should government take steps to even the banning of 2000 note also, bringing back 1000 note, so that?
Sir, I think that change should be gradual. Like Indian society and Indian economy is mainly the cash dominant economy. We can say people are more friendly in using the cash. However, we are gradually moving to a cashless economy. We have seen UPI and other bank linkages of payments are increasing, digital payments are increasing. So once we achieve that cash dependency is reduced to a substantial extent, we can certainly reduce the higher value currency notes.
Okay. We have BPL,
Yes.
economical weaker sections, non-creamy layer, and OBC classes.
Yes.
But even then, the free distribution of water, food, and items to everybody. Why it is? When we have categories, we should think of benefiting those categories which are not capable of purchasing something. Why to everybody? Government are resorting, some governments are resorting, or some states are resorting. Why it is?
Yes, sir. So certainly, sir, it is. I mean, freebies should be much more targeted, and we have already done the identification of the poorest and the poorest of the poor through various categories. So targeting must be ensured to provide the direct benefit. But sir, there are various reasons, like sometimes the categorization is very rigid. Like many people are there on the margin, so there are chances that they will get missed out of this benefit, and ultimately they will deprive, sir, of this benefit, sir. So for the and also, sir, administrative convenience is one part where when there is a more targeting or micro targeting, it is difficult for administration to provide that money. So sometimes such avenues help that we directly transfer it to the everyone. But gradually we must move to a direct benefit transfer to those who are in need the most. So sir, that should be done, sir.
Yeah, shouldn't it be item based only, say air and water and food? These are the three major items. Air and water, and air is freely available. Water is not available. It should be provided to everybody, and rest it should be purchased by everybody except the categories which I just mentioned.
Sir,
it is not the government duty to provide this clean water to everybody.
Yes, sir. Sir, in the recent step, we have also taken the government has taken certain steps like Ghar se Har Ghar Nal se Jal. So the functional household tap is the target of the Ministry of Jal Shakti, and government has taken steps to provide it by 2024 to the most of the households, sir.
But at the moment, most of the people, if in Delhi we see, most of the colonies are unregularized. Similarly, in Bombay also, we don't have houses for everybody, or in the name of the people who are living over there, irregularized colonies, and there we can't think of Har Ghar Nal Ka Jal. We can't think of like that.
Sir, certainly the unregulated colonies and slums is certainly an issue of the urbanism. But as a humanitarian ground, we cannot cut their water immediately, sir. This should be dealt separately, and there must be more vigilance, and there must be efforts should be made to the regularization and also punishment to those unregular colonies, sir. But directly cutting household tap, it should not be. I mean, those things should not go in hand in hand, sir. It should be dealt separately.
Russia is resorting to especially the European countries, that they should purchase their its wine in rubles only. Why it is?
Yes, sir. Sure. As a part of the sanctions after the Russia's attack on the Ukraine, foreign currency avenues for Russia has been restricted. Also, Russia was banned from the SWIFT, which is the foreign exchange messaging transaction. Also, Russia is facing the dollar crisis. Like their dollar and the other currency reserves are decreasing. So, if they transact in the rubles, it will help their economy to save that forex, and it will also reduce the depreciation which is going on in rubles. So
European countries are now resorting to its conditions of Russia.
Sir, European countries are intricately linked to the Russia for the various major dependency like oil, gas, etc. So now Russia is also using their negotiating power to compel them to use their transactions in the rubles. So nowadays we have seen that Russia has warned various countries like Germany that they will stop gas if they are not paying the rubles. So if they feel that their need of gas is much more severe, so ultimately it will compel them to pay in the rubles.
In Bombay, we are constructing something, coastal railway or road, whatever it is, through sea.
Yes, sir.
Environmentally, is it good?
Sir, even the Bombay High Court has given permission for the Mumbai Coastal Road, but there are certain issues of environment which must be addressed. First issue is the coastal community. That coastal community may face various sea level intrusion. Environmentalist has warned about that. Second thing, it is not just a coastal road project, but also there are various reclamation patches were going to be done. So such reclamation can be in longer run will be harmful. Third thing, various river bodies which are discharging waters into the ocean are getting affected. Like one is the Mithi River, which is at the Worli. It is environmentalists have warned that it will affect the river course, and ultimately the flooding situation will be intense. So such environmental issues are there. Government has, the municipal corporation has also planning out that review and how to address that environmental issue. So yes, sir, certain issues are there, sir.
Last, bullet train. Big countries are developed countries. They are making bullet trains. India also planned. Gujarat has already agreed, but the project has been delayed because of Maharashtra or something like that. Though it is.
Yes, sir.
Why Maharashtra is not thinking of taking the benefit of this situation at the moment?
Yes, sir. So the initial, we can say the allegations from the Maharashtra government that the most of the part of the bullet train lies in the Gujarat state. So only the northern part of the Maharashtra is getting benefited from the bullet train. Also, Maharashtra government pursued it as a law to transfer the the financial capital from Mumbai to Gujarat. So these were the political reasons. But technically, if we see through a developmental lens, it will certainly have a benefit for Mumbai as well, and the whole corridor we will get benefited from it. Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay, Rohan. So you mentioned about this Under the Banyan Tree, right?
Yes, sir.
There is a book also, a famous book called Under the Banyan Tree.
Yes,
Who is
sir.
the writer?
Sorry, sir, I am not aware of that.
Okay. You have studied in Pune.
Yes, sir.
So there is an institute called National Institute of Virology in Pune.
Yes, sir.
Which two institutions, global institution, had helped in establishing that institute?
Sorry, sir, I am not aware about that.
That institute actually specializes in research on viruses.
Yes, sir.
how many different type of viruses have they researched on or specialized on, and which all vaccines have they developed?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware about it.
Okay. So, Government of India last year during this time only was pursuing vaccine mapping, right? Was it a success or failure, or was it at all needed?
Sir, vaccine maitri was needed. Like if we are have an edge over the vaccine production, we must also contribute with our partners like the less developed countries and developing countries. Also, COVID was a international crisis, and if we are seeking a role of a Vishwaguru or a Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is our goal. We must also we must also share whatever benefits we are sharing domestically to our international partners, especially those who are in very much need, like developing and less developed country. So it was needed and it was successful.
Have you heard of the word lurid Orientalism?
Sorry, sir, I'm not.
Let me give you a hint. It is related to a Delta wave of last year and its reporting.
Yes, sir.
Can you recall?
Sir, can I guess? I mean, the Orientalism is related to the Oriental region, which is called as Asia, the colonies. But I'm not aware about the exact lurid Orientalism, sir.
Okay. There are three distinct words that is used nowadays for this COVID viruses. That is variant, subvariant, and recombinant variant.
Yes,
What
sir.
is the difference between these three types?
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm not aware about the exact differences between each of those variants, subvariants, and the recombinant. But as far as my limited knowledge, I think variant is some viruses when get them mutated totally. Recombinant variant is maybe it can be a resistance to the antimicrobial doses which has been provided.
When we say mutation, what exactly happens in virus mutation?
Sir, in mutations, there are certain changes in the structure of the virus. First is the protein spike of the virus gets changed, so it makes difficult to identify for the cells which are there for the identification of the foreign material. It gets difficult to identify, sir.
What happens when there is a change in the RNA of the virus?
Sorry, sir, I'm not.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir.
So thank you, Rohan.
Yes, sir.
What do you think of your interview with us?
Sir, I need to prepare in the various areas, like the basic things like.
This is the
history.
first time you are appearing for the interview?
Yes, sir. This is my first interview at Civil Service. This will be my first interview.
And this is your first mock also?
No, sir. This is my fourth mock interview.
Alright. So, Rohan, you are a very good candidate. There is no doubt about it. And you have come to this stage that shows your determination and that shows your grit also. There are 2-3 things.
Yes,
As has been said earlier, your answer should be a little more mature kind of thing.
Yes.
It should show clarity of your mind and it should be based on certain reasoning.
Yes.
Somehow I felt that most of your answers were maybe factually correct, but these were not presented cogently and based on reasoning. Ultimately, we would be interested in knowing your viewpoint.
Yes, sir.
Like I asked you about Indian economy, impact of Indian economy, and you have been a student of Indian economy, economics. So it would be expected that your answers are very precise.
Yes.
And you will give some kind of a view based on facts and figures.
Yes.
That was not reflected in your answers. So your knowledge of your history and geography of the country is a little not up to the mark.
Yes.
I have a very simple question about Vijayanagara Empire, about the battle. In class 8th student knows about the Battle of Panipat, Battle of Khanwa, and that kind of thing. Because that was the turning point in this country. These are not important because these happen to be some kind of sporadic event. No. These were the turning point in the history of this country.
Yes.
And you did not have much of an idea about that also. And Vijayanagara Empire is fine. Krishnadevara, etc., it's all right. But why was it famous for? And how did it achieve that kind of prominence? Like, what was the reason for its decline? We did not, but you should know about that. That will give an understanding of the politics of South.
Yes.
So I would request that when is your interview?
20th May, sir.
तो अभी आपका time है.
जी sir.
You kindly look into the history, geography, economy, and constitution books of class 12.
Yes.
NCERT. Those are best books.
Yes.
अब पढ़ने के बाद रात को सोते समय just think about those particular topics and see whether you are able to consolidate your thoughts. पहले भी आपने कुछ पढ़ा होगा plus this.
Yes.
And can you find out some meaning out of it? पढ़ना alone is not sufficient. To find out a meaning is important.
Certainly.
All right. Do that and you will do wonderfully well. All the very best.
Thank
Take
you
care.
very much, sir.
Rohan, I think you come across as a very pleasant, as a very positive candidate. That's a very good trait. However, as Sir mentioned about history and geography, that is very important. And also on some factual questions, I think don't start answering if you don't know it. Okay, like I asked you about Mumbai, right? So the name change happened in 1996. Okay, and you are from Mumbai. So every day, always, in some conversation, there is always this thing कि Bombay बोलते हैं, Mumbai कब से हुआ and all things like that. Those are very common. तो आप either you know about it or you don't know, right? But as being somebody from Mumbai, you should be aware.
Yes.
फिर सर ने आपसे जन शिक्षण संस्थान का पूछा था, तो वो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ स्किल डेवलपमेंट में आता है.
Sir, when it was earlier, it was part of Ministry of Skill Development.
बिल्कुल.
2014, it was shifted to Ministry of HRD, and again, it has been a part of Ministry of
स्किल डेवलपमेंट तो बना ही 2014 के बाद है, वो
No, sir.
2015 में बना है.
Sir, it is a Ministry of HRD program, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
चेक कर लो, because I think it's in Ministry of Skill Development. Just go about.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
कोई इशू नहीं है, देख लेना एक बार, बिकॉज आपके डैफ पे लिखा हुआ है.
जी सर.
कोई पूछ सकता है. Rest, I think, and also related to economy, there are a lot of current events which are happening, right?
Yes, sir.
So those are very important areas, right? So in economy, keep following. You should read one business newspaper and one normal newspaper, because your background is in
Yes,
economics. Okay. So all the best.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Good. You are a good personality. You involve in debates, that's good, and you are confident. And what I found that details,
Yes.
you did not prepare about that.
Yes.
State yourself. What is Kadam tree? These are basic issues which you must know about yourself.
Yes.
Sir pointed out very nicely that inference should be drawn and that should be spoken.
Yes.
So for that, take a little time, small time, and then frame your answer. You have enough material to speak. Only systematic answering is required from your side,
Yes.
especially economics. Be shorter in answers.
Yes.
No, that is the point.
Yes.
Otherwise, you are having a good chance.
Thank you, sir. I'll work on that, sir.
Work on your DAP,
Yes.
state, and places where you have lived or studied,
Yes.
and especially current events. Past 1 year, many things have happened
Yes,
in
sir.
India.
Yes, sir.
Like I asked you this question: lurid Orientalism. Sorry,
Yes, sir.
find about it.
Yes.
Especially about COVID, you should be aware about whatever is happening. We are still not done with COVID,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
So every other day there is some news related to COVID. What India did, what India should do, and what programs are there. Government had taken, Prime Minister had taken a meeting also.
Yes, sir.
Roadmap is again prepared. Read about it.
Yes, sir.
Questions would be asked.
Yes.
And are asked.
Yes.
If you go through the interview scripts
Yes, sir.
that are there in the market,
Yes.
you must have come across many interview scripts. They are asking about COVID.
Yes, sir.
Right? Prepare about it.
Yes.
You should be knowing about NIV.
Yes, sir.
Stay in Pune. It's a H5 lab.
Yes.
One of the very few labs which has got H5.
Yes.
So you should be aware of it.
Yes.
Prepare. Right?
Okay.
Best of luck.
Sir, any suggestions for delivery?
Delivery skills are
It's fine, absolutely. There's no issue
problem.
on that. The only thing is that you have to structure your thoughts properly.
Yes.
कोविड से रिलेटेड तो आपसे पुणे का जो पार्ट है तो इन्होंने पूछा, बहुत ही बढ़िया बात है। वही की मेडिसिन बन रही है जिसको हमें लग रही है, उसी के ऊपर ले जाइए आप अपने डिस्कशन।
That is the lab that gave the dead virus to Bharat Biotech.
Yes, sir.
And then it was, you should be knowing that ICMR Rockefeller Foundation had helped in founding that lab.
Yes.
The H5 lab is a prestigious accreditation.
Yes, sir.
Rotavirus, influenza, and there are 5-6 viruses they have researched on, and vaccines are created.
Yes, sir.
So you should be knowing that.
Yes, sir.
Read
sir.
about it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Take care.
All the
Thank you,
best.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civils Daily.
कौन नहीं चाहता कि उसका मेंटर एक यूपीएससी रैंकर हो। 2021 के फाइनल रिजल्ट्स में सिविल्स डेली आईएएस के 200 से भी ज्यादा सिलेक्शंस हैं। गाइस, आई एम गोइंग टू कनेक्ट यू 1-to-1 विद सिविल्स डेली रैंकर्स फॉर फ्री। देयर इज अ लिंक इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन, फिल इट एंड schedule a session. These ranker will prepare a timetable and a personalized plan for you. ये टॉपर्स आपको exactly वही बताएंगे कि कौन सी बुक फॉलो करनी है, कौन सा चैप्टर पढ़ना है. They will guide you in answer writing, mocks and accessing them. Don't miss this golden opportunity to get mentored by a ranker.